A friend of mine who was living in France at the time was helping me find some horses. And he had seen Phish competing with a friend of his. And he said, I think this could be an interesting horse for you. And I made a trip over there, and we kind of drove all over the country looking at a bunch of horses. And then we looked at Phish at the end of the day. There was just something about the horse that I really liked. Something about his character, maybe the feel that he gave me, but he didn't do anything spectacular when I tried him. You know, there were a lot of reasons for me not to buy the horse. And I kind of just, I don't know why, but I just wanted him. I think a lot of people thought I was crazy when I came back from France, and this was what I had picked out. There was nothing about him that screamed 5-star event horse other than he was a good galloping thoroughbred. There was a significant period of time where, we didn't have any sort of good results. We kind of, we were really learning one another, and I was trying to kind of figure out how to sort of train this horse to sort of change his way of going in certain key areas. And that was a process. And I think in the course of that process, I think he made me a much, much better horseman. I really learned how to meet a horse in the middle and how to, really try to not train a horse, but educate a horse and communicate with a horse. I really think Phish is one of the most important horses in my career because of what he taught me. Just a foundational horse for me as a professional. Tight Lines arrived, like I mentioned earlier, he was no portrait. He had no top line. He had this belly, looked like he'd swallowed a whiskey keg. And he just looked terrible. There's no other way to describe him. It was a really unfortunate looking horse. And Katie has said that, oh my gosh, he looks like a blowfish. So I said, oh, well, that's kind of a fun name. We can't call him Blowfish, but why don't we call him Phish? And I grew up listening to a lot of rock music and kind of jam band music, and Phish was a band that I particularly liked and saw many times. But why don't we call him Phish? And since I liked the band, we decided to make it PH Phish. He is a very lovable creature. He's got this kind of really vibrant eye and this inquisitive kind of personality. He kind of looks at you and he really feels like he's inviting you into his space. So he's very social in that way. You can't help but walk by his stall every day and want to stop and say hi because, he's just a really, really awesome character. As a kid, I think everyone has sort of dreams that might have lofty goals like making an Olympic team or something like that. Being around some Olympians and understanding just how hard it is and how many things are outside your control and whether something like that happens. I sort of had a healthy respect for the possibility that despite all your best efforts, sometimes it just doesn't work out like that. And so my focus was always just on the horses, trying to do right by the horses. If those goals don't come off for whatever reason, I still find a lot of satisfaction in just the opportunities that I'm given to ride and train horses like Tight Lines or some of the other ones we have here every single day. What an incredible honor, and we were sort of very humbly surprised. But I remember horses that I knew, competition horses that either I had competed against or just knew of as being a fan of horse sports. And when they became a Breyer horse, it was, it sort of solidified, your appreciation for them and kind of the recognition that you're giving to these horses. It's a very cool thing, and it's a great way we get to sort of celebrate his career and his life with us, and that's really cool. Having been in the Kentucky Horse Park during BreyerFest and seeing all these, people really of all ages, it's not just kids who are, suddenly drawn to these incredible horses and the things that they've accomplished. It helps grow the sport and just make people realize how lucky we are to have horse sports, and it's a privilege for riders like me to be able to work alongside them, and I think it's great for the general public to get a glimpse of that. Well, I think they did an incredible job. I think one of the most iconic things about Tight Lines was his gallop and just the range in his gallop. He just had an incredibly striking image of him galloping cross country. And he also has this real brightness in his eye. He has a really vibrant face. It's cute, but it's just incredibly spirited. But more than anything, I think this just looks like a horse who's doing what he was naturally put on this earth to do, which is run and jump. And that's kind of what Tightlines ended up looking like and being like as he aged. He was 100% in his element, running and galloping across the country, and he gave me some of the most incredible feelings I've ever had riding a horse. I've never had a horse that made some difficult 5-star events feel as easy as he did. And I still will never forget the feeling of what it was like on him on the cross country. It was, you felt like you were on a winged Pegasus. I mean, he was just, to have a horse that fast and that capable of going around a cross country course the way he could, I mean, he was just, it was effortless. He's an incredible horse, and this is a celebration of this horse, who we all love very dearly, but there's a lot of people that helped bring him to this place where, you know, he's going to be recognized in this way. So I owe a lot of thanks to them, but mostly to Phish. Come join Phish and I at BreyerFest at Kentucky Horse Park. It's going to be a great time.